Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is 30 facts about Crater Lake out in Oregon. And in addition to the facts, we'll show some of the little quirks that you'll experience when you visit Crater Lake. All of the information in this video is provided straight from the National Park Service, and you can look up amazing guides as well as other fun facts from nps.gov. So this park exists as part of the Cascade Mountain Range. It's an impressive 700-mile or over 1,000-kilometer stretch of mountains with a cast of nearly 20 major volcanoes. Mount Mazama was the massive volcano that once existed over here. So this lake, now known as Crater Lake, was formed nearly 7,700 years ago when Mount Mazama last erupted. The eruption triggered a massive collapse, and then a caldera was formed. Scientists do believe that another eruption is possible for Mount Mazama, but it could take thousands of years for the magma reservoir under the lake to recharge. Crater Lake gets its iconic deep blue color from its clean water and its deep depth. Now the deepest point is 1,943 feet deep. To put it into perspective, that's twice the height of the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Crater Lake is the deepest lake in the USA, and it's the 9th deepest lake in the entire world. And it's also the world's deepest lake to be formed by volcanic activity. The water is so clear that on average, you can see 103 feet into the water. And on a very clear day, you can view objects down to 130 feet, that's 40 meters, deep into the water. And where does all this crystal clear water even come from? Well, 83% of the water in Crater Lake is from snow and rain falling directly into the lake, and the rest is runoff from the slopes. It actually gets so much water that about 2 million gallons of water per hour is seeped into the porous rock near the North Shore. So that water is lost underground and is not believed to feed any nearby rivers or streams. Crater Lake National Park is one of the snowiest inhabited places in the US, with the park headquarters receiving an annual average of 42 feet of snow each year. The snowfall creates a blanket of snow that provides protection and warmth for some mammals such as shrews, voles, and pikas that live there. Other animals, such as deer and elk, are forced to leave the park in order to survive the cold winters. As Crater Lake is completely disconnected, there was no fish until they were introduced by humans in the late 1800s. Now there are rainbow trout and kokanee salmon. In addition to fish, there are birds, mammals, insects, amphibians, and of course, plenty of plant life. Some of the animals at the park include red foxes, pikas, salamanders, bald eagles, peregrine falcons, and 12 species of bats. And as a fun fact, most of the red foxes in the park are not red at all. In fact, they are mostly either silver to black. The park is also currently home to about 50 black bears. While they do roam away in the summer, they mostly all return back to the park to den in the winter. And if you are liking this video so far, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for your support. All right, let's get back to all the facts. So Mount Mazama once towered at an elevation of over 12,000 feet. Of course, that's before the massive eruption. The elevation at the surface of the lake now is at 6,173 feet, which is almost 2 kilometers. The elevation of Wizard Island, which is this island pictured here, is 6,940 feet, so about 800 feet above the surface of the lake. So Wizard Island is actually a newer cinder cone volcano that was formed about 7,300 years ago. And there's another volcanic cone within about 95 feet away from the surface of the lake as well. For visitors, it is important to check weather forecasts. They even have live webcams if they're available, because the lake sometimes is invisible about 50% of the time in the winter and even early spring. If you're into hiking, there are 90 miles of hiking trails at this park. That's almost 145 kilometers of hiking trails. Hope you bring plenty of water and granola bars. Now here's a question that everyone wants to ask is, can you actually go down to the shore and touch the water in the lake? Yes, but to visit the lake shore, the only access is by using the Cleetwood Cove Trail. Now, not that you'd want to dive that deep, but on the bottom of the lake, scientists have made some surprising discoveries, including some 30-foot chimneys made out of uprising fluids, and even bacteria that use iron to gather energy. And if you are wondering, how cold does that lake get? Well, the average surface temperature of Crater Lake is 63 degrees Fahrenheit, and that is in fact the highest since monitoring began in 1965. This park receives so many visitors, and rightfully so. And in 2021, the park had 648,000 visitors. The Pacific Crest Trail is a 2,650-mile trail that ranges all the way from Canada to Mexico, or vice versa, and it actually passes through Crater Lake National Park. And while the trail passes mostly through forest, it does not actually provide any views of Crater Lake. So for those views, if you're driving, the Rim Drive is a 33-mile road around the lake that has more than 30 pullouts that offer all unique views of the lake. And you don't even have to walk or hike that far, literally steps away from some of those turnouts. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you got to learn a lot more about this wonderful place known as Crater Lake and inspired to visit. All right, folks, have a good one.